What's up, guys? I want to start a series where I'm calling it the Mow Journey, starting from the very beginning to where I'm at now. And during that journey, I want to be able to answer questions. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll try my best to do a video on it. But I want to try and run this series where I kind of give you my best advice on what you need at every stage, from your first day in the truck kind of thing to where you're worried about every single person that knocks on your door if they're going to sue you. You know what I mean? So anyway, this series is going to be called the Mow Journey. So guys, I want to let you know why I started my lawn care business. When I started my lawn care business, I was pretty hungry to be successful in something. I had no idea what. In my previous life, before lawn care, I was in the restaurant business, and I felt like I was dedicating a lot of my time and passion and everything to restaurants. So I felt like I was good, and I'd been doing it for so long during that time that I thought I could start my own restaurant. So I actually went through the process of trying to find a building so I could start my restaurant. And I was working on a menu, and that was what I was gonna do, because I was just wanting to do something that wasn't working for somebody. You know what I mean? I was also when I was younger, I was into music. So I rented a space because thought I was gonna start a recording studio before the restaurant business, and I was just getting speed bumps after speed bumps. It was just something that, the equipment was kind of expensive. A lot of the equipment I didn't know how to use either, so there was going to be some learning curves and all that, and I guess I wasn't passionate enough to learn it, but I was dying to find something that I could do. And one day I met a friend who was a construction foreman, who said that if he had to start over, he would do landscaping, and it was something that I really should consider. And I thought, that's interesting. I never really thought of doing that kind of work, but I'll look into it. So I just with his help, we went to a few neighbors' houses, asked if they wanted their garden beds cleaned up, and they did. We did a first one for like $250, and it took us like an hour for both of us. And that's when I realized I can do this. So after that first day of doing garden cleanups, my mind started racing. Okay, I got this restaurant thing that I'm working on, but I'm going to put that aside right now because I could actually start making money today. Literally, I could just go on my street, knock on doors, who are already getting their lawn mowed. That's kind of funny. I would never do that now, but back then I thought, they're getting their lawn mowed. They're getting their lawn mowed. And these were my neighbors. So I knocked on the doors and said, hey, I can mow your lawn. Some of those customers or neighbors of mine actually said, yeah, I'll cancel my landscaper if you were going to start mowing it. By the way, my prices were way off, and that's probably why they did it. But once I had a few customers, then I asked my father-in-law if I could use his lawnmower. I was actually using his lawnmower for my own house at the time. But I told him, let me use your lawnmower, and I'll mow your lawn too, and I'll mow my neighbor's lawns, and I'll make some money. And I want to start this business. So that's kind of how it started, and that's how easy it is to get in this business. But that's also why it's so easy to get in this business and not get ahead. Just because there's so much competition that the prices got to be kind of low, sort of, especially at the beginning, or always. Just depends on how you want to run your business. But I want to try and go over some of these steps so you can avoid the pitfalls of doing things the wrong way, or at least hear my side of things so that you can kind of take that as kind of like some kind of experience, even though you didn't actually go through it. Maybe you could use my experiences to help you get ahead. I did a couple of jobs, whether garden cleanups, even mowing lawns, and the customers were so happy that I was doing the best job I could. And I could see the joy that they were getting from my work. I never felt appreciated in any other industry that I worked in, ever, like I do with landscaping. And especially at the very beginning, I was feeling like I was accomplishing something. But one of the things you're going to need when you first start out, even if you're just doing your neighbor's lawns, is you want to get general liability insurance. It's really important. The first time I was threatened by a customer, I didn't even know I had insurance. I would say I was probably in my 3rd year of this business, and a friend of mine who was really close to me, even to this day, was already a kind of an accomplished landscaper, but he was going through some issues, so he had to get rid of his business, but he wanted to start a new business under a different name, and he needed insurance. And for whatever reason, he couldn't get it because he didn't have an established business. For whatever reason, he had done some mistakes that caused his insurance to not want to cover him. So he asked me if he could do some jobs under my business name as a subcontractor. And I saw an opportunity that I could make some money because he would pay me a percentage to just use my business name, and I knew he was good. So I said, that's fine. But he said he needed to get insurance so he can do that, general liability insurance, and he had to get it under my name. So I called the insurance, got it set up, so I had general liability. And again, this was my 3rd year. So thank goodness nothing happened to me those first 2 years. Anyway, he did a couple jobs. I got paid, he got paid, customers were happy, we were good. And then he kind of started going off on his own again and didn't need my business help or anything. But we had set up my payments to get taken out of my bank account automatically every month. And it wasn't very much, but at the time it felt like it was a lot. I think it was only like $80, which I wish that was my insurance cost now, but it's not. But I paid it because I was just happy that I was doing something the right way, and if anything ever happened, I would have been covered. But I kind of forgot about it, okay? And I don't know how much longer time went by, but I was mowing somebody's lawn, and I had to move their rain gutter out of the grass, and I put it in a window well because I just wanted it completely out of the lawn. So we started mowing the lawn. Once I finished the lawn, we packed up and left, and I forgot to take the rain gutter out of the window well. Well, that night, of course, like fate would have it, it was the worst storm like in history that this city has ever had, literally on record. And with all that rain going down in the gutters of the house, the rain gutters, and going into the rain gutter tube. So I got a phone call it was actually like a few days later. They didn't even realize that I put the rain gutter in the window well, probably. I don't know what took them so long, but they ended up calling me saying that they figured out it was from me doing that. And he said something to the effect like, I hope you've got a lot of money because you're going to have to pay for all of this, okay? And during that time, I only had probably 20 or 30 customers every week. So, I mean, I was barely getting by, paying myself, or not even paying myself. I mean, I was just kind of doing work every day, happy what I was doing, but making no money, you know? And so my heart sank. I didn't know what to do. I parked in a parking lot. At this point, I forgot I had insurance. So I called a lawyer. I just looked up damage to customer's house, need a lawyer kind of thing, you know? So I Googled that. A lawyer popped up. I called the number and I say, hey, this is what happened. And he said, and I'll never forget this, he said, don't you have insurance? And I said, what, insurance? No. And he goes, you should have general liability insurance. And I went, oh, actually, I think I do. So I hung up with him and I went to my bank account online and I started scrolling my transactions and I saw one that was an insurance company. I don't remember the name now, but I remember it. And the phone number was on that line item in my bank account. So I clicked it and it rang, and it was like a receptionist for the insurance company, like a normal, like anyone. And I said, hey, my name is Freddie, and I don't know if I'm covered, but I think I am because you guys take money out of my account every month. And she looked me up, and then she said, yeah, we've got you. And she said it in a way like she knew she was going to make me feel amazing by saying that I'm covered. And I was so grateful and relieved. And I told her the situation. She said, don't worry about anything. We've got you. That's what she said. And I was just like, oh, this is amazing. So I called the customer and I told them what happened, that I was covered and I'm going to make a claim and all this, and somebody's going to reach out to him. And he was actually upset that I didn't have cash to pay him off instead of using insurance. And I told him, I go, well, that's why I have insurance for this kind of situation, because I don't have enough money to pay you for all this. Anyway, it got handled, and that was a lesson that I've learned. And I'll never not have insurance, because you never know when something could happen. That was my fault. There are things that could happen that aren't your fault. Now my employees can make mistakes and I don't even know it. So you got to be covered. And I would say starting from the beginning, being covered is one of the most important things. So the equipment. Without equipment, you're not going to make any money. So you need to get a mower. You need to get a trimmer. And you're going to need to get a leaf blower. Basically those three things. And your mower needs a bag on it. That's pretty much all you need to get started. If you do leaf cleanups, if you do garden cleanups or even leaf cleanups, you know, having a rake is a good idea. But when it comes to like cleaning a yard, like a flower bed or a yard, all you need are gloves. You know, really all you need are gloves, rakes, shovels, and things like that. Nothing too costly. But the mower you're going to need, trimmer, and leaf blower. You may also want to get an edger. So I will tell you, when you first start out, you're going to feel so good that you're really going to start wanting to do a really good job. So when you first start, you're going to be the best mow tech you'll ever have for your company, because I don't care how happy your workers eventually will get from happy customers, they're never going to be as detailed like you. So you're going to be really good. And if at some point, and if early on you're getting that feeling like, whoa, you know what, I'm actually doing something that I'm really good at, I can really see myself growing and making money, you want to get like the trimmer, you want to maybe get, the steel blade edger. You may want to get like some commercial quality equipment, but just to start and get going, you don't need all that stuff. And you certainly don't need to get a credit card from those dealerships to get your business started, especially at the beginning, because you may not want to do this. Now, when I first started, I did pay cash. You don't need to go into debt to start this thing unless you've been mowing for a while and it's something that's actually paying some bills, and to get ahead. So, you know, you need more equipment because all your equipment's like not commercial quality and it's failing. You need to get some better equipment. I can understand that, and I can see that, because ultimately you'll make enough money, hopefully, if you're priced right, to pay that off. But I wouldn't, like, I have probably 9 grandstands that are worth between $10,000 and $13,000 each, and I never took a credit card payment for any of them, or even like financed or nothing. I just kind of saved up for one, and I kept doing that with all my equipment. Now, some of the trucks I do have financed, because you know how that goes, but none of the equipment. And I'm not saying that I never will, I just never had to. So I would say you don't really have to if you really save for it and buy it as needed. Now guys, again, this is just stuff to get started. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, let me know. Like, subscribe, ring the bell so you'll know right away when we get some new content going up there. And hopefully you can ask me something and I can help change your business or help you get going.
For more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe.